Welcome to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. We follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Welcome back to the ANEW Body Insight Podcast. We are back for the second half of our wonderful interview with certified Pilates instructor, former professional dancer, and massage therapist, Kira Lamb. Kira gave us some invaluable insight into her background as a professional dancer, and then moving on to becoming a healer, helping people age with resilience. We cannot wait to learn more.
Welcome back, Kira. It's good to see you again.
Thank you.
So last time we talked a lot about how you started out as a dancer and that you did some aerial arts and then you got into Pilates. And I just wanted to ask you, in what way do you see Pilates enhancing not just people's physical well-being, but also mental and emotional well-being?
Well, Joseph Pilates said that his work elevates the spirit. So I feel like anytime you move, quite honestly, whether it's Pilates or any form of movement, all those feel-good hormones start rushing through. And so it's impossible to leave a workout, I think, and feel worse than when you first arrived. And so one of the things that I always ask my clients at the end of the workout is, how do you feel? And it's not just a physical thing. Most people respond like, I feel good, or I feel really energized. I know I usually leave feeling super productive. And that's what I always want people to remember, because for me, that's the incentive to return. I really want people to focus on how they feel versus how they look. It's not about having six-pack abs or toned arms. If you get that, that's like a bonus. But it's really about how you function and how you feel in your body.
Well, yes. I love that. And I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that, with Pilates, one thing I have found that really helps people, and I don't even think that we as Pilates people even consider this, but a lot of the exercise that people do is so sagittal. It's, like if you think of running, it's just forward, backward. And you all of that beautiful rotation with Pilates, and you're opening up your rib cage and you literally breathe better because of that. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I think it helps with the mental piece, right? Is because suddenly we're breathing differently.
Yeah. I think it's the breath and also the nervous system, because we move our spine so much in Pilates. So you have like the spine articulation, like you do the 100 and in the mat work, and then you're doing the roll up or the half roll back, whatever. And I think that it's like massaging your central nervous system, and it's like, if you think about all your nerves are exiting your spine, that mobility in your spine, I feel like keeps your nerves awakened and alive. And it just, I don't know, it's like a buzz. It's like a good...
I wrote a book, and in my book, I talk about how the sympathetic nervous system lives in your thoracic spine.
Yes.
So your flight nervous system lives in your thoracic spine, your mid-back. And so if you can move that, you can dissipate some of that fight or flight energy, kind of get it out of the body, if you will.
That's so fascinating that you said that, because one of the things that I specialize in massage therapy is myofascial relief. And one of the techniques that we do is called rib springing or rib cage springing. So manually, we are manipulating people's rib cage and opening up their diaphragm so they get more mobility and more breath into that thoracic area. Very interesting. But we do the same thing in Pilates. And like, if I want to increase someone's mobility in their thoracic spine, I'll put them on the spine corrector or the small barrel or the ladder barrel and open that area up and make sure we're moving through flexion, extension, lateral flexion, and rotation. So it's like the same thing.
Well, you, coming from the dance world, I think that you create, and I can say this having worked next to you, you create programs for your clients that are really creative. And I think that that's informed by your dance background. You're incorporating all of this self-expression. How do you see self-expression and creative expression benefiting your clients?
I incorporate the self-expression when I incorporate, like when I created a program for Pilates Anytime, for example, and I created a quote unquote challenge that was a combination of a workout followed by a journaling prompt. So I don't necessarily mix the self-expression with Pilates. I keep them separate. So once you do Pilates, I would set up a workout that was guided by a specific intention or a theme, like I feel grounded. And so then we would do the workout and we would focus on like, how do I feel grounded in my center? How do I feel grounded in my feet in this workout? And then at the end, there would be a journaling prompt such as, I feel most grounded when. So I have been a journaler like since the early 90s when I first read The Artist's Way. And so I used to wake up every single morning and do my morning pages. And while I'm not as structured with that now, journaling is such an important part of my self-expression because, I mean, there's so much more to us than just like our movement. No, we have to express our emotions. We have to have a way to get like our deepest thoughts out. Sometimes the ones that we don't feel comfortable sharing with others. Sometimes we put our thoughts on paper and they surprise us. They surprise ourselves. But I just think it's important to be able to express who you truly are authentically. And sometimes it's easiest to do on the page. So that's how I would combine Pilates with self-expression. I don't necessarily mix the two. Like I never mixed Pilates and massage therapy. They're separate, but I do like to encourage people to do both because you're a whole human being and you need more than just the movement.
I love this idea of journaling after Pilates. I mean, kind of going back to what we were talking about before, when you do the Pilates, you are regulating your nervous system essentially with the movement and the change in the breathing and the spine articulation. And so you are more in touch with your intuition and you're going to be more in touch with your own authenticity, your truth, so that when you do the journaling, it's just going to come out so naturally and slow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love
it. Just feel raw. Like you can just kind of just purge on the page. And I really encourage stream of consciousness writing. So it's not like you're writing an essay for school where you're trying to formulate a sentence. I just kind of like put my pen on the paper and just let words come out. I allow the prompt to guide me. And then sometimes it's amazing the things that come out on the page. You're like, I really think that way. I really feel that way about myself. I'm really upset about this and I didn't even realize I was so upset about this or I was triggered by this and I wasn't aware. It's really interesting what you keep in the depths of your psyche and don't let it to emerge. But you walk around with all like those somatized emotions and it does affect the way you move if you're always holding in your emotions.
Yes, I think journaling is like a form of self-therapy.
Oh, 100%.
Especially if you don't have the funds to go to a therapist or even in conjunction with your therapy, I highly recommend people journal to get their deepest, most unconscious or subconscious thoughts to come to the surface and then to just be like free with it because oftentimes your intuitive self will come in and offer you the solution that you were looking for.
Exactly.
If you're just as relaxed as you can be, and I mean, you're right, after Pilates, there's no way you can feel more tense than when you started. You're always feeling just better and more open. You go straight to journaling something like that right after a movement like that, and you are bound to have really amazing insights into what you're going through.
Yeah. It's definitely a genius combination. I want to try that now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Right. So I feel like that's kind of what's happening is people are moving and they've gotten themselves out of their mind naturally with the Pilates, and then they're going to get to that subconscious stuff that comes out on the page. It's brilliant.
Even as a dancer, it's interesting because I'm used to expressing my emotions through movement. But when you can put words to those emotions, there's so much more clarity to what you're feeling. And that's what, like the insight that you're talking about, the intuition that you get from actually putting into words and putting it on paper, that's really, really powerful.
Great. Love it. So you've mentioned wanting your students to harness their superpower. What does that mean to you and how do you help people do that?
Okay. Well, first, I've always wanted to be a superhero. It's just like literally, since I was a kid, I thought I could fly. Like I was that kid. I was like, if I take 3 giant steps and somehow get my body parallel to the ground and just start flapping my arms, I thought I could fly. So it's no surprise that I became an aerial artist. I just believe that we all have not really real superpowers, but I think that we are far more capable than we are willing to admit at first. And so I just want people to experience Pilates so they can also experience what their bodies are capable of. It's like some people don't think, like, when you first start Pilates and the roll up is impossible, and you're like, I'll never be able to do the roll up. And then you give yourself like some weeks, or maybe it takes months, and all of a sudden you do the roll up. That is so empowering, and I don't know, I still get that too. Like I can't always do a good roll up, and then, my body might feel specifically or tight on a specific day. And then the next day when I can do it, like it just feels good. It feels good when you discover what your body is capable of. And as you continue to do Pilates, like I said, everyone starts off as a beginner, but you're not going to be stuck at the beginner level the whole time, because your teacher is going to progress you and give you more challenging exercises where you have to be able to do multiple different movement patterns at the same time. And when you can do that, when you can get into the intermediate work and maybe even the advanced work, you start to feel a little bit like a superhero, because you never even believed you could do that stuff in the first place. You thought you were stuck just doing a footwork series and leg circles and frogs, for 10 years. But it's amazing how those foundational exercises will progress you into, say, doing airplane on the Cadillac. I know some people don't know what I'm talking about, but it's a beginner exercise versus an advanced exercise.
And then you can do the squirrel, which is I don't know.
I don't think I'm ever going to try that ever.
No, never. It's insane. That exercise, if you don't know, listeners, just go Google it. It's crazy. Yeah. But I love this because I work with a lot of people and expanding their limitations. I think we come into life with a kind of preset, I can and I can't do this and that. And we often, I think, go to the worst case scenario as opposed to the best case scenario.
Yeah.
And that sounds like how you are approaching work with your Pilates clients. It's about, expanding their minds and expanding their belief in what they're able to do with their body, but slowly, safely,
exactly,
in a progression. And I think that lesson goes right out into life.
Exactly. 100%.
If people approach their problems with that, I can start here, I can progress here, and what if I went there? You have no idea what a person can accomplish. I think that's really beautiful.
And Pilates also teaches you to try different approaches to the same goal. So it's like, okay, so I'm really struggling with the roll up on the mat. Well, what happens if you're on a traditional mat and you can put your feet under the straps and you understand how to like anchor your legs and how to create opposition between your legs and your powerhouse? Or what if you do the rollbacks where you have spring assistance? It's supporting you while you discover that spine articulation. Or what if you go to the window chair and do the push down and find that spine articulation? Like there's so many ways that you can figure out, how can I articulate my spine? And then eventually you take those new habits and put it back on the mat and you can do the roll up. Same exercise you always wanted to do. You tried all these different approaches. They can give you more information and suddenly you're able to do something you thought you wouldn't be able to do. That's what I think is so genius about if you use the whole method instead of just doing like one piece of apparatus. That's one of the benefits, is that you do have options to help you learn.
Yes, I love it. Now, I want to talk about community. You actually have built quite a big online community. Tell us about the work that you've done to do this.
Well, I'll talk about Contrology Free Challenge. It's not necessarily community, but the Contrology Free Challenge is an annual event that I host on Instagram. And it is a way to bring what I call Contrology freaks or Pilates lovers from around the world to kind of converge onto this platform and just kind of demonstrate to the world what Contrology is in the first place. Like, what is this system that I've been talking about? And how is all the apparatus that we work on and how are all the exercises that we teach fully integrated? And so what I will do is I will choose a total of 7 exercises. And let's say I do, we'll just take the roll up again. So let's say I'm going to show you the roll up. In your Instagram post, I want you to demonstrate either a regression for that exercise or a progression for that exercise, and try to use as much of the apparatus in the studio as you possibly can so people can understand that Pilates or Contrology is about progressive and systematic training. Progressive meaning beginner, intermediate, advanced-ish, and systematic meaning we use all the apparatus, the reformer, the chairs, the Cadillacs, and so on and so forth. So you could have a roll-up. If someone can't do a roll-up, you teach them the half roll back. Your knees are bent, you have the support of your hand, and they start to move their spine. A progression of that, or like also a basic version of that, would be the roll back on the Cadillac. Now, how would I progress the roll up even further? Maybe the push down on the Wonder chair. Maybe when I'm doing standing squats, when I do a squat at the Cadillac, reach my arms forward, I roll down against that spring resistance, roll up. So the goal is every single day there's a party theme, because I didn't tell you, we're celebrating Joseph Pilates' birthday, which is December 9th. That's when it launches. It's a 7-day challenge. It starts on Joe's birthday. So let's say day one, the party theme is the roll up. And so people post the roll up, but also progression set exercises or exercise regression set exercise on all apparatus. Next day, new theme. It could be pulling straps on the long box on the reformer. Where else do you get that thoracic extension, for example, or that arm pattern, the movement of your arms on other pieces of apparatus? So we have 7 days, 7 party themes, and I have 7 sponsors, and they offer free gifts, birthday presents, to people who are drawn out of a raffle. So Grotz, for example, has been one of our sponsors every single year, and they donate like an awesome gift, usually like 3 pieces of like small apparatus. And Pilates Anytime will donate like a month. Pilatesology donates a month. The Pilates Source will do like archival posters and classes. Chris Robinson donates. Kathy Strack donates her book because she's written the biography about Joseph Pilates and one about Romana Krzyzanowska. Pilates Lineage, an apparatus manufacturer, they donated stuff. I don't want to forget anybody, but you get the point. So we get 7 winners who are drawn out of a raffle, and they get these prizes. And it's all to honor Joe's work, but also to educate consumers. What is this Contrology thing all about? What is traditional Pilates? And that's the goal.
That is cool. That is so cool. I also saw that you just went to his original studio.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
So every single year, Sean Gallagher and Elaine Ewing host what's called Pilates at the Pillow. So Sean bought Joseph Pilates' property, which is adjacent to Jacob's Pillow. And for those who don't know, Joseph Pilates used to go to Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival every summer, and he taught dancers his physical conditioning. And he also bought an adjacent property. So Sean bought the property, and what happened to be on the property was a cabin, which was Joe's original gym in the Berkshires, and it was full of his apparatus. But the previous owner didn't know anything about the apparatus or the significance of it. And so that cabin full of archival apparatus was just sitting there, and it was getting damaged, from water and just like age. And so Sean and Elaine and a team of volunteers started to like pull all the apparatus out. They basically rebuilt that gym from flooring to walls to windows to roof. Then they started all the apparatus. Sometimes it meant putting like new vinyl on, finding missing parts that you couldn't find, or having springs replicated. And now it is a functioning gym with his archival equipment.
Oh, cool.
It's really, really cool to like be on the original cloth reformer, or to be on one of the first high chairs ever, and to see like original straps. It's also just surreal to be in a space that holds so much history. It's really fascinating. And then to be on Jacob's Pillow in the space where he taught. So some people, even if they don't do Pilates, probably only Pilates people would look at this, but like old videos of Joseph Pilates teaching dancers at the Tea Garden. They're outdoors on that wooden stage, and you see them like jumping up and down and doing this or doing the teasers. Like that's where we get to play. It's a lot of fun. And also for me as a dancer, it's just incredibly amazing to be in that space when so many famous dancers danced and trained and studied and performed. I get fascinated by history and lineage. And like when you have something as powerful as a Pilates or some type of like modern dance, if you think of like, I don't know, like Martha Graham, like preserving her work, it's fascinating. We always need people to preserve the original, even if other people expand upon it, which is like kind of inevitable. But I think it's really valuable to hold on to history and to preserve it, because it's such a great educational tool as well. And also there's just power to the work. There were great minds. There were great minds and great movers, and we should preserve the work to the best of our ability. So as a dancer and as a Pilates person, I love being there.
That is so cool. I have to get there someday.
You should.
Yeah, that's I had no idea that existed. Really
and it's
wonderful.
Like being at camp. We stay in actual cabins.
Totally.
It's like it's so cool. It's like shared spaces, but it's so much fun. And there's literally Pilates lovers from around the world. So this time there were 2 women from Japan, another woman from Mexico, someone from Ukraine. We've had people from Wales, like literally from around the world who show up for this event. And it's a total of 40 people. So it's also fun just to meet other people who are into the same stuff that you're into and find out, their stories, how they got into Pilates or what they did before Pilates. And it's fun. A lot of fun.
Awesome.
Good stuff. And you said you had another community just on your Instagram page. Is that right?
No, I don't really host a community yet, but I didn't know if you were referring to like followers. I don't know why I thought that. So one day I would like to build more of a community. I'm in the process of working with someone right now. So I'm kind of like morphing my business a little bit, because community is super important to me. And feeling like you're in like a supportive environment where you can continue to grow either your practice or say like your journaling. All those things are super important to me. And I like being around people. It's fun work for people who really love Pilates and love the system of it. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. And what else can we expect from you in the future? I mean, once this foot heals, I'm guessing there's no stopping you. You have other plans?
Well, I will get back on the hoop ASAP. So there's that. What else? I envision myself one day moving internationally. And that's one of the reasons why I am building up my online platform, because I like the idea of being mobile. Mama's getting older, and I just want to continue thinking about what do I want my life to feel like, and what do I want my business to feel like in the next 5-10 years. It's important to think about, so I don't all of a sudden hit 70 and be like, oh my God, I'm still like teaching X numbers, X hours a week, and I have no time for rest. And I just want to be a little strategic. I absolutely love what I do, so I have no plans of actually stopping ever, but I want to make it manageable. Whatever I do, I want to keep it enjoyable and keep it fresh and interesting for myself, and keep attracting the same type of students that I'm attracting, because I feel super lucky that I've been getting the people that I get, because they are true students of the work. They're fascinated by it.
Where internationally? You want to buy like one of those little $1 villas in Italy?
I have my eyes in Mexico. When I graduated from, now I said this on a podcast, I'm really going to have to do I actually, after high school, I lived in the center of Mexico for 2 summers, and I studied Spanish. And that's when I first fell in love with Mexico, and I fell in love with the language. I became fluent, but now we're talking about like that was the 80s. So I haven't used my Spanish as consistently since. So I want to regain my fluency, and I just want to experience living in a different country again, amidst a different culture, with just like maybe different value systems, different priorities, have just different experiences. I don't want to just be in New York City for the rest of my life. As much as I love this city, it'll always be here. I just want to experience the world and be able to travel even more. There's a lot of places that I haven't visited yet that I would love to visit. And that would be fun for me. And even travel and teach, in studios across the world would be a lot of fun for me. So
that would be great.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost at the end, but before we log off, can you tell our listeners how they can follow you, how they can get a hold of you? What's your website? All of that.
Yes. So my website is kiralam.com. So it's Kira, lamb like the animal.com. You can find me on Instagram, which is Kira S. Lamb. And those are the best ways to reach me. And then if you go to my website, you'll have my contact page if you wanted to send me an email. Some people DM me on Instagram. But if you have questions about training with me, the best way is to contact me through my website versus through Instagram.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Kira.
It was wonderful to see Kim on your podcast too, because she was at the studio when I was there too. And I always thought she was a fantastic teacher. And I love watching her work on Instagram. I love it. It's phenomenal.
Yes. She's the micro movements of torture lady. We've had Tracy.
I know.
We've had Deborah Rosen. Yeah. And I think after your time, we had Fiona Loomis Eddy, who's a former Netherlands dance theater ballerina. And she trained through ATP as well.
Really?
She was on it as well. You got to, go watch. She's amazing.
Yeah, no.
She's not even released yet. She will be released soon.
Okay. That's really cool.
We've had lots of Pilates instructors and people who have come through ATP for sure. So that's been fun. And it's been really great having you.
And I love that it's still open. And just to see the way Tracy has grown her. I always knew that she was a rock star. Like I knew that way back then. And now she just truly is. She's such an inspiration.
She really is. Yeah, she is. She absolutely is a rock star. So everyone, you got to go and listen to not only Kira's episode, but also Tracy Mallett's episode, Kim Spencer's episode, Deb Rosen's episode. We all interconnect through this ATP place in South Pasadena. That's how we all know each other. And everybody seems to have done really wonderful things with their lives in the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's so cool to see. And both of you are authors now. Like, what?
Yeah. Yes, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
It has been quite a journey. Yes. So thank you to our listeners for joining us. Thank you to Kira Lamb for joining us. Tune in again to ANEW Body Insight Podcast. We look forward to seeing you again. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight Podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Body Insight Podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.